So we've textured our slab, and now we're going to cut it to our cup size before we stretch it. Here's a tube. We're going to wrap the clay around, and I should mention that this is what we're going for. We're looking for a textured body for our cup. So here's some example of cups that have been textured. So it's a straight-walled cup that has some texture. Your assignment is to have a little bit of texture or a lot of texture, your choice. It needs to be impressed texture. So to make those cups, we use a form to work over a tube. We have a lot of different sizes of tubes available for you. The important thing to do is to wrap it with newspaper, and the newspaper should be loose. That will facilitate taking it off of the tube later. So make sure that the newspaper moves a little bit like so. Then let's size up our cup. We're going to turn the texture upside down and roll it around the cup to see about how much clay we're going to need to do this. And where it overlaps, I'm going to cut through the two layers and then use a straight edge to get the two sides of the cup, the top and the bottom. So between 4 and 6 inches is a pretty good measurement for this cup. I'll be cutting this down again as I work it. I'm just trying to get the raw slab to work with at this point. So now we're going to stretch this one. It's still a little bit too thick, so we're going to stretch it on the floor. So we're coming over here, and then what you're going to do is with the slab, you take it and you stretch it like that. So you're not just coming straight down at the floor, you're taking it and moving your hands parallel to the floor to stretch the slab. Then carefully pick it up, and now we have this very interesting looking pattern on our slab. And as you see, it's gotten a lot longer. So now we're ready to wrap it around our cup. I wanted to mention that as we're working, save all these extra little pieces that you cut off, because you'll need those for your handle. So don't wad these up. You've already rolled them out, put texture on them. They could prove to be useful in a few minutes. Turn your slab upside down. Let's get the length of our slab again. So we're going to roll it around our tube again. And then once again, we're going to cut it through that double layer of clay. Save this, you might need that for a handle. Take the ruler, you want to get a nice level top and bottom edge on this cup. Once you cut one of the edges, you can use a triangle, is a good thing to use, so that your top and your bottom will be parallel. Cut, line up the triangle with the bottom of the edge, and then cut the side, and then use the side in order to get the other end of the slab parallel to the first cut. Take the tube, put it on there, make sure you have ends that will meet, which we do. Before you roll it around there, take the pony roller, bevel down the two sides, the two ends, because we're going to overlap this seam, so we don't want it to be too chunky. It would be nice if it was the same thickness as the rest of your cup. So once you do that, you have to, again, cut the part that just flared out a little bit before you wrap it around the cup. These kind of things are easier to do now than once it's on the cup. If you forget and you put it on the cup, you can still cut it because you have the form inside the cup to help you cut against, but it's much easier to do and use a ruler when the piece is still flat. We want to score the two sides that are going to connect, so we score the back of one side and the front of the other side. Add water. Score again both of them so that you're building up a slip on the surface of your cup. Put the tube there. Roll the slabs back around the tube. So that you have a nice connection. Gently roll with the pony roller to make the connection even stronger and to also make it a little bit thinner right there. And if you'd like, you can add texture back to that little area while it's on the tube so that you still have texture there. So I'm taking the pony roller and rolling some of this netting over that seam. We want to put a bottom on this now, so you can take a piece of the clay that you were using earlier, and this one we need to stretch it out just a bit. Turn it upside down. I like texture on the bottom of my cups, so if you like that effect, put the texture underneath. Set this. I'm going to set that on top. Before we do that, do a little bit of scoring here so that you've scored the base. And then pick this up and score the bottom of this. Add water to make slip on both halves, both parts. Score again. Place the cup on top of the base. A banding wheel is really good to use for this part. Gently drop that onto the base. Take a fettling knife or a thin blade knife, and as you turn the banding wheel, cut around the base. Gently tap it on to the bottom and take your finger and do further sealing of the base to the cut body with your finger. We'll do more work on that later. If you want to add texture back onto this part, you can, but it's a little bit wet right now. So we're going to let this set up, and when we come back to this later this afternoon, I'll be showing you how to add the reinforcement coils on the inside of the cup and how to add on the handle.